What happens when your source workbooks don't all use the same sheet name? If you leave Power Query hard-coded, the whole combine process breaks. In this advanced tutorial, I'll show you how to make your queries always pull the right sheet, no matter what the sheet is called. We'll cover 5 different methods, from simple index positions to filtering on headers, so you can choose the method that will make your queries rock solid. Let's have a look at some data. So I've set up some sample data in this folder, and the contents of each of these 3 workbooks is displayed on the screen now. So you'll notice Division C's workbook, the sheet is just called C. Division A's has called it sales_A, and Division B has simply called it sales. So we need to build a query that's capable of pulling these 3 differently named sheets from these 3 workbooks. We're going to go to Data, Get Data, From File, From Folder. And then we're going to click on the folder we want to combine, and we're going to click Open. And combine and transform data. Then we're going to use the first file. This is picking up sales_A as the sheet name. So we'll click OK on that. So if we go to our No Tables output query here, you'll notice we've got the right data for sales division A. However, we've got errors on the other rows. And if we peek into that error, you can see the key did not match any rows in the table. So it's not been able to find that sheet called sales_A in any of the other workbooks other than the Division A workbook. Now, if we go into the helper queries under the group from No Tables folder, we're going to go down to the transform sample file, and we're going to have a look at the steps that this added in. So on the navigation step, you can see it's hard-coded sales_A as the sheet. Anything in red and double quotes in Power Query is hard-coded data, which could potentially lead to problems later down the line with your queries not being very dynamic. So if we flick back to those files, every one of them had the worksheet in the same position within the workbook, i.e. sheet number 1. So we could utilize this and use the indexing function to say we always want to pull the first worksheet from that workbook. The way we do this is we need to alter the transform sample file step. We could go up to View and use the advanced editor to be able to do this a little bit more easily. So I'm going to open up the advanced editor. Now, this second step is pointing to the sheet, hard-coded, so I'm going to get rid of that. And we're going to call this step sales, and we're going to say that step is equal to, and we're going to point to our source table, and we're going to use curly brackets, and we're going to put 0 in there. So that's going to say, look at our source tables and pick the first table. And the reason for 0 being the first is Power Query uses 0-based indexing, which means whenever you're referring to the first position in any index list, 0 is number 1. Number 1 in your index would actually be row 2. Number 3 in your index would actually be row 4, and so on. If we point to that, and then if we put in square brackets the data, and we put a comma after that, what we're saying here is use the source data, the first sheet we find, and pull the data from that sheet. You'll note the third step is pointing to sales A sheet, which was the name of this previous step. We've renamed that sales, so we need to make sure we're feeding in that intermediary table. So if we click OK, done. We go down to our No Tables query. I'm just going to click Home, Close and Load To, and we're going to put that into a table on this sheet. And there we've got the 3 rows for each of the 3 workbooks, all based off the sheet position within each of those workbooks. Another method we might employ is to pick up the tables within the workbooks. We can specifically point to the table objects. So I've set up a folder here called Tables, and within each of these workbooks here, the data is stored as an Excel table. So if we click on it, Table Design, you can see it's called T-Sales, and that's a table. That's the same in all 3 of those workbooks. Just going to close that. We're going to do exactly the same thing. I won't make you watch this step. Notice this time on the prompt we can see the table T sales, so we can select that instead of the sheet and click OK. You can see this is a table by the slightly different icon. Now you can see the output of that. It doesn't matter that within those 3 workbooks the sheet names were all different. If we go up to the helper query from the transform files from tables group and the transform sample file, you'll notice this time if we look at the source is the table name T_sales that we've just looked at, and it's declaring it as a type table, whereas in the original example the navigation step was pointing to a sheet name and saying that was a sheet. So if your data's in tables and the table has a consistent name, then this method gives you a clean and reliable way of getting that table data without ever referencing the sheet name. Next problem we might face when using tables is the table name might actually be different. So I've set up within this folder table diff names 3 examples. So you can see this table in sales division A is called T_sales A. We've got a table called sales and we've got a table called table 1. So let's look at how we can pull all 3 of those together despite the table names being different, and also note the sheet names are different. So I'm just going to load this up into Power Query again. Okay, so note, because we used the first file, division A file, as the sample file, that one's worked because it's used T_sales A as the table name, but the other lines have errored because they didn't match any rows again. So what we need to do is work out how can we transform this transform sample file so that this navigation step allows for any table name. I'm just going to go into the advanced editor and we're going to replace this step with this. And what we're saying here is we've got a step called tables only, and within that step we want to use the table.selectRows function. We're going to feed into that function our source output table, and we're going to say within that table we want to look at each and every input that's a table by using the kind type. Then our next step, called first table, is going to use the same principles we looked at earlier with worksheets where we used indexing. So we're going to say the output of tables only, i.e. the previous step, that intermediary table, we're going to take the first table within it and we're going to extract the data from that. So because all of our sample workbooks only had 1 table, this zero-based indexing trick will allow us to pick that first table up regardless of the table name within them. I'm just going to get rid of that final comma and we're going to say within first table as our final output table. Click OK. Then we're going to go down to our table diff names query and you can see we've got our 9 rows. Next method we might want to look at is when a sheet contains a certain string. So we might not know what the entire sheet name would be, but we might know it'll always contain a certain element. So in this sheet names contain folder, I've set up 3 workbooks. One of them's got a sheet called Sales C year to date. The other's got a sheet called Sales. No, it's not in the first position, so we can't use indexing. And then the other's got a sheet called Sales_A. So let's look at how we can combine those 3. I'm just going to load those up into Power Query the same as we've done previously. So as we've seen before, only the first input has correctly output because that's fed the sample file. So let's go to that transform sample file and let's have a look at it in the advanced editor to see what improvements we can make so this is more dynamic. So this step here, we can't use this because sales A is hard coded, a bit like we saw earlier. So I'm going to delete this step and we're going to call this filtered and we're going to say equals. We're going to use the table.selectRows argument. I'm going to open parenthesis. We're going to feed in the output of our previous step, i.e. source. Then we're going to say each so that we can work at a row level within that output. Then we're going to use the text.contains function so that we can look within each of those names. Does the record name contain this string? And we'll just simply put sale. Then we're going to close parenthesis on our text contains, and we're just going to feed in and the kind is equal to sheet, so that we're just looking within the worksheets. Then we're going to close parenthesis and press comma. Now our next step here, we're going to use indexing again. So we're going to say position 1, and we're going to say that is equal to the output of our previous step, filtered. Can press tab here. We're going to put in the curly brackets 0, and we're going to put in the square brackets data. We'll put a comma after that, and just remember in this last step where we've promoted our headers, we want to feed in the output of our previous step, which is position 1. And press tab on that. Then we can press done. Now, when we go down to sheet name contains, perfect, we've got all 9 rows filtered out using does the name of the sheet contain the string sale. Okay, in this scenario, we've got no tables, we've got no consistent sheet names. You can see these are called A, sales, sale C underscore year to date. They're not in a consistent position in the workbook. We've got it in index 1 here, there, but index 0 here. So how can we find this data within this workbook when none of the approaches we've looked at so far will work? What we could do here is look for common headers within the return data. So we know that the start of our data has likely got the header product. So we can try and find that within any of these sheets so that we can target. That's where our data is contained and where it starts. So popping the data into Power Query again. We've got the same problem as always. We're going to go into the transform sample file, and then let's have a look in the advanced editor at the navigation step. So we're going to use this M code in the advanced editor, and probably easiest way to visualize this is we'll go through the steps that this has created. So the first step is the same as all the other queries. We're just using the parameter 1 output. Next step with headers, you can see from the source step, what we've added on is this additional column called with headers, and that's using the table.add column function from the source step. It's called the column with headers, we can see here. Then it's used the each, which means it's going to go through every row within this table or the source table. Table.promote headers, and it's promoted the data. So you can see we've got a nested table now within that additional column. And within that nested table, it's actually found our product report. So now we've added another column in this step. You can see we've used the table.add column step again. We're feeding in the with headers output, i.e. our last step. We've called this column has date, which you can see here. And then we've said each, so every row, does the list contain? And then we've looked at the table column names with headers, i.e. this table column here. Does it contain product? So it's looked through the nested table here and do any of the column headers contain product? And you can see the Boolean result here is true. Then we've said from our filter, table.select rows, use our output from our previous step check header, and then say each row has the date column that we added and kind equals sheet. So it's saying where house date equals true and the kind column is equal to a worksheet. So we've got a match there for our filtered data, and then our correct sheet, as just said, just use the output from the filtered previous step, and we're going to use the indexing 0, and we're going to index in and we're going to pull the with headers data. And then you can see we've got that output there, and then if we step down to headers contains, we correctly get all 9 rows based off the fact that they all contain data that has the header product within it somewhere. And that's it. 5 different ways to make your queries more robust and dynamic, regardless of what your source sheet names are. From index and name filters to header detection, you've now got a full toolkit to keep your queries dynamic and flexible. If you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments which method you prefer, or if perhaps you've got alternative methods that I've not covered. And if you missed part 1 in this series, please check out the link in the comments or the cards about how to use Power Query's interface to combine source workbooks. Thanks for watching, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, I'll see you again next week.